The Mavericks beat down the Pelicans for their third straight win in a collective team effort as the Mavericks dominate at home. We recap it all here on the DLS Mavs postgame show. Here we go. Hey, what's up, DLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are DLS Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single game night at Kevin Gray Sports, at Bobby Carella. Later on in our show, our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato and our national NBA insider Marc Stein will be joining us live from the American Airlines Center to recap what was a beatdown at the AAC tonight, as your Dallas Mavericks pummeled the Pelicans 132-91 for their third straight win to get to 8-7 on the season. 7 guys in double figures in what was a fantastic performance for this Mavericks team. At Kevin Gray Sports, at Bobby Carella, if you want to get at us on X. Appreciate you joining us here live on the DLS Mavs post-game show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how you're feeling after the Mavericks' dominant win over New Orleans tonight, Bobby, as the Mavericks did the one thing that you asked them to do during the pregame show, which is don't F around. They did not do that in this game and took out New Orleans for a big win tonight.
Yeah, that was line 1 of my scouting report, is don't F around because you don't want to find out. And then at the end, I bookended that with a, whoops, I keep breaking my microphone these days. Just be boring. Be unsexy, be uncool, be uninteresting. Just win the game by a lot of points. And it was another one of those things where Kyrie didn't play a single minute in the fourth quarter. Luka played for a little bit. Some second stringers played for a little bit. For the most part, it was easy, smooth sailing for about 2.5 quarters of that game. And so, I'm not gonna build it up too much. The Mavs cracked open a can on the Pelicans, so I'm going to crack open one myself.
They did open up a can on the Pelicans tonight. 7 guys in double figures for your Dallas Mavericks tonight, led by Luka who had 26 points. Klay Thompson, 19 points, getting back on track, making 5 3-pointers in this game. Kyrie Irving had a nice tidy 18 points, as well as the Mavericks got a wire-to-wire win tonight, leading by as many as 41, that being the ending margin as well, with a 132-91 win and what was a dominant start for the Dallas Mavericks, opening up the first 5 minutes of that first quarter on what was a 20-6 run. They did not look back from there as they put the pedal to the metal early on, and their bench came to play once again. Another dominant effort from the Mavericks bench guys, much like they did on Sunday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But a great start for a Mavericks team that scored 44 points in the first quarter, a season-high point total in a first quarter this year, capping, or I should say breaking, what they did on Sunday when they scored 39 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, again, another great start for this team for the second game in a row here.
2 good first quarters. I don't know if that's a pattern or a trend. I forget what the saying is, but, we have been pleading this team to get off to good starts this year. And who's at blame for the poor starts is up for debate. I guess that's what we talk about. Is it who's starting and who's coming off the bench? Is it the coach? Is it the players not buying in or not coming ready for battle? Is it the stars or whatever? But tonight it was everybody. Klay, 10 points in the first quarter. Kyrie, 8 points in the first quarter. Luka, 7 points in the first quarter. The bench, 15 points in the first quarter. Everybody was getting going early. And whenever there are no weak points, whenever you're like, oh my God, that Hall of Fame shooter is going, the MVP is really good. Oh no, maybe the best second co-star in the history of professional sports is red hot too. What do we do? Then it's like, yeah, you're going to lose. That's what you do. and the Mavs scored 44. So after scoring 39 against OKC, hopefully these are a thing of the past. And yes, spaceman, big tall men doing big bad huge man stuff. Absolutely, that's what it's about. Tall guy, go to rim. Me, give ball to you, tall man. Turn and lay in the ball. That's so tonight. I'm trying to pull up my tweet. Tonight, the Mavs took 58 shots in the paint.
Let's go.
They took 46 against OKC, which is quite a few, but they took 53 against the Spurs. So that's 3 games in a row where they have been living in the lane. And what do these 3 games have in common? None of there were no centers. No disrespect to Yves Missi, no disrespect to Zach Collins, Charles Bassey, but, these are borderline to not NBA caliber big men.
Correct.
And the Mavs, again, Lively, Gafford, Najee's big, Luka's big, PJ Washington's big, Maxi's big. We say the Mavs have quality size, maybe the best front court in the NBA. Show us, prove it to us. And for 3 games in a row now they have.
Yeah, and on the other side of the ball, defense was the name of the game tonight for the Mavericks. You look at the defensive numbers tonight, forcing 21 turnovers for the New Orleans Pelicans. Mavericks scoring 28 points. Off of those 21 turnovers, the Mavericks also in this game, 12 steals, 7 blocks in this game. One of my big takeaways from tonight, Bobby, the active defensive hands of the Dallas Mavericks causing deflections, causing disruption for the Pelicans offense. In fact, Luka Doncic in this game tonight even had 3 steals. He started off the game with back-to-back steals for layups in transition that gave you an indication that not only maybe his legs are getting under him a little bit after the 1-game absence, but locked in defensively, this team set the tone on that end of the floor as well and constantly was harassing the Pelican offensive players all night long and did so, holding this team to under 100 points. In fact, just 91 tonight for New Orleans.
I believe the first 2 baskets of the game were Luka pick sixes.
That's right.
Layups. And
touchdown!
It was very clear from that first minute and a half of the game. Dude, New Orleans was not. They didn't want to.
Well, your man Brandon Ingram was like, you know what? Actually, don't even worry about it tonight.
Oh, my God. I mean, that's just right off the rip. And, and Ingram started closer to the basket than Luka did.
He did.
And Luka, Luka is a great player. I'll tell you how good he is. But if Luka is beating you in a foot race down the floor, you're not trying to do this right now. And there is a very demoralizing, deflating effect that kind of stuff can have on the team. And I don't mean Ingram, not sprinting back as fast as he can, just back-to-back pick sixes to start the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Clay hits a jumper 10-20 or 10-30 left in the first quarter. Pelicans already have to call timeout.
Yeah.
They're coming into this game shorthanded. They're coming into this game not wanting to be there. They're coming into this game believing that they're going to lose. And then you let them know in the first 2 minutes of the game, you are going to lose.
Yeah.
We are better than you. This is not going to be a fun night for you guys.
Yeah.
That is what good teams do. That's what great teams do.
Yeah. Good teams beat down bad teams, and this is not a good team in the Pelicans. Shout out to Miles because he was definitely watching the pregame show. Appreciate you calling that back out.
Yeah, there you go.
I did 5 threes for Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson making me look real smart tonight. Really appreciate him for that. Wanted to see him get back on track. This is one of those get right games. Much like how the Houston Texans had one last night against the Dallas Cowboys. Whatever. The Mavericks had a get right game tonight and continue to be right, especially on the offensive end. Shout out to Super Chat Ardell, already making his presence known with the $2 Super Chat. I love dunks. We love dunks. And you know who else loves dunks? Derek Lively loves dunks, particularly reverse dunks. He is the master, it feels like nowadays, of the alley-oop reverse dunk or two-handed reverse dunk by himself. It doesn't matter. He loves reverse dunks, but there were plenty of them tonight. For sure.
We were commiserating in the DLLS diehard Discord. Again, those 2 Luka pick sixes were both layups.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, points are good, but dunks are cooler, than layups. And then right at the end of the game, Dwight finds himself in a similar situation. He got fouled, I think. I was kind of in the middle of something, but he did not dunk it either. Now, I'm just here to say, all right, again, points are points. A layup is worth 2, and so is a dunk.
That's right.
But dunks are cooler. Dunks are fun. Just dunk the ball.
You know who was dunking a lot tonight, too? How about Jaden Hardy? Jaden Hardy, throw it down, young man.
Yeah.
Throw it down in this night. Reason I bring him up because the bench tonight was absolutely spectacular. For the second straight game, at least 50 points from the bench. They had 50 and was a plus 25 against OKC on Sunday. Tonight, check this out, a plus 28 for the Mavericks bench tonight, outscoring the New Orleans Pelicans bench 56-28, so doubling up the bench of the opposing team for the second consecutive game. And you look at some of the guys that contributed in this game. Najee Marshall, his first game against his old team in the Pelicans, he had 15 tonight. Daniel Gafford had 11. Jaden Hardy had 11. All these guys contributing to what was a complete team effort and win. And yes, I see it in the chat as well. Luka Doncic, who made his return after missing the game on Sunday, got his legs under him fairly quickly and looked like he was moving a little bit better tonight, something that we were hoping to see based on the opponent that they were playing, but having a couple of days off to be able to get his legs going, and it looked like that was the case tonight for him.
What was really great, too, about the bench, Quentin Grimes, plus 21. Najee Marshall, plus 27. How about Maxi Kleber, plus 30? So not only was the bench coming in and scoring, but they were extending the lead. They were beating the other guy. And this is kind of a good reminder, like, think back to where we were at mentally, spiritually, emotionally, professionally a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
When the Mavs just kept on dropping these games, and they're all coming down to the last possession. But what did I keep saying? Like, points in the first quarter and the second quarter are worth just as much as they are in the last possession of the game. But the Mavs, you know, they were missing PJ. They were missing Lively. They were missing Maxey. They were missing other guys, too, in some of those losses. And it's like we saw that happen. What happened to this team that is supposedly very deep? Well, all of a sudden you take away the entire second unit. They're not so deep anymore. You know, tonight, though, the Mavs starters, and it's kind of the same way against the Spurs, the Mavs starters were going up against backups, and the Mavs backups were going up against third and fourth stringers and two-way guys. You know, and we saw the difference in quality there. Even OKC, you know, the Mavs were down Luka, but OKC was down all of their bigs. They were down Caruso. So OKC was playing a lot of backups, playing a lot of third and fourth stringers, and the Mavs bench was able to really completely dominate those two. I think it was 50-25 bench points in that game. And so, you know, we are now seeing all of a sudden whenever the Mavs are really healthy, especially when they go up against wounded teams, they feel a lot deeper than they are, than we thought they were.
Yeah, and they asserted their dominance with their bench effort tonight for the Pelicans. Trey Murphy, the third, led them with 19. Brandon Ingram was just 6 of 15 from the field with 17 points, was a negative 18. By the way, Trey Murphy with those 19 points was still a negative 35 for the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. A complete and total dominant effort for the Mavericks all the way around. A couple of other numbers to let you know how it went down at the AAC tonight. Mavericks shot 45% from downtown, going 14 of 31 from three. Overall shot the 53% from the field tonight. So the Mavericks scorching all over the floor tonight while holding the Pelicans to under 40% from the field overall at 39.7% and 34% from three. The Mavericks also went 20 of 25 from the free throw line, so converting the easy ones as well. And again, something that we talked about during the pregame show as well, dominating on the glass, making sure that your guys, in terms of Lively, Gafford, and others, crashing the boards. The Mavericks won the rebounding battle again tonight. 48-37 was a +7 on the offensive glass and was a +4 on the defensive glass. Again, utilizing the advantages that they have to play big and be able to execute when it comes to ending possessions defensively, but also creating second chance opportunities as well.
Tonight, 45.2% from three, which is obviously incredibly good. Can I give you a good and a bad stat?
Sure.
All right, I'll start with the good because I think that we should be just positive people in general. The Mavs are now 4-1 this season when they shoot at least 40% from three.
That's good. Like that.
The bad news
is
not only have they only shot 40% 5 times, they've only shot better than 33.3% from three 5 times.
Okay, so when it's going in, it's going in. When it's not,
it is not.
It's not going in at all.
And that is, I am genuinely shocked by that stat. So they are either over 40% or at 33% or worse, which is very, very much not what we expected. You look at this roster, you think, okay, Luka, Kyrie, and Klay are 3 of the best high-volume three-point shooters in the history of the NBA, okay? And you have Quentin Grimes and Najee Marshall, who careered, and Maxey, who's like pretty solid, all things considered, and Derek Lively, who's going to be in the three-point shootout one day. Like, we were thinking that this is going to be like at least top 10, if not top 5, if not better, three-point shooting team. And we really haven't seen that so far this season. However, 2 straight games that they're above 40% from 3. They went 40.7 against OKC. And so maybe you're kind of turning the corner, maybe, hopefully.
Or they could just shoot above 40% all the time and just win every game.
But at least just shoot like 36, 37%.
Like meet us somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, give yourself a chance. I mean, like, think all of these 1-point losses, 2-point losses, you're 33% or 31% or 28% from 3. And it's like, my God, man, what would have happened if they would have shot average?
It's just made a couple more. You probably would have won some more games.
But it's
in the early part.
Slowly trending upward.
Yes.
Slowly but surely trending upward.
As they are now on a 3-game winning streak. Shout out to Paul. Want to make sure we acknowledge him. Paul in the chat saying that he's an Arlington transplant I'm assuming that's Los Angeles.
Thanks, Paul.
Or Louisiana. You never know which one that could be. Keep up the good work. Watch and listen every day. Shout out to you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Appreciate you, man. And
that's
good
nice,
thing you
man.
got out of Arlington because the Cowboys sure wish they could get out of there at this point. So a shout out to you for watching and listening to us here on the Dallas Mavs podcast postgame show and pregame shows every single day. Mavericks beat down the Pelicans tonight for a huge win, their 3rd straight win overall, getting to over 500 after 15 games at 8-7. Let's take our first break here on the Dallas Mavs postgame show. The turning point in this game and how the Mavericks used a total team effort to get it done as they move forward with their first 15 games under their belt. All that and more coming up next here on the Dallas Mavs postgame show. Well, let's talk about goals for a minute. How are you tracking with the ones that you set for your business earlier this year? Are you close? If not, do you know why you haven't hit them? I know why. Because you don't have Constant Contact. Constant Contact lets you hit those in your goals, just like we have goals here at DLS Sports, trying to get to 11,000, 12,000, 13,000 subscribers. You got goals as well. And we want you to a million. We do want to hit a million at some point. That would be incredible.
We're so close.
Constant Contact has what it takes to help you meet all of them and meet them faster. No matter how experienced you are with digital marketing, Constant Contact has the tools to help to make your marketing run smoother. Sell more, raise more, and build more genuine relationships with your audience. Constant Contact's suite of digital marketing tools, all made to fast-track your success. Time to put the go in your 2024 business goals with email, social, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to ConstantContact.com/allcities to start your free trial today. Go to ConstantContact.com/allcity for your free trial.
When I watch Klay Thompson shoot and he's as hot as he was tonight, sometimes it feels like I'm staring right at the sun. Now, while I would not recommend personally ever looking at the sun with or without sunglasses, if you're in a situation where it feels like you are, then boy, do I got a pair of sunglasses for you. From our friends at Shady Rays, with quality shades built to last, they got you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style, and they probably even have a pair in your team's favorite colors.
Yeah.
Now, which colors? Do you want to go with the Mavs City Edition? Do you want to go with the Mavs normal jerseys? Do you want to go with the whatever we saw on the court tonight? Well, hey, go to ShadyRays.com and find out for yourself, because they're giving out their best deal of the season. Head to ShadyRays.com and use code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
The Mavericks use a collective team effort to dominate the New Orleans Pelicans 132-91. 7 guys in double figures. The Mavericks now have won 3 straight games as they have a couple of days off before they visit Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets as they continue the NBA Cup. By the way, with the win tonight, the Mavericks now 1-1 in group play so far in the 2024 Emirates NBA Cup. Can
I quickly address a thing? So somebody in chat asked, why does point differential matter? Because people have been talking about how it mattered. So teams are only going to play 4 games during the group stage of the NBA Cup. And if you finish tied with someone, so like 2 teams finish 3-1, for example, the tiebreaker is not head-to-head record. The tiebreaker is point differential. So the Mavs went -3 in their loss to whoever it was. They go +41 tonight. They're now +38 in the group, which is pretty good.
There you go. And that will put you at the top of the group stage so far as the Group C is concerned in the West, where the Mavericks are playing in that particular group. So
take that, Group C.
A great night overall for the Mavericks as they were able to get the win in their first win in the 2024 NBA Cup. The 24, I don't know where I was going with that. The turning point in tonight's game, I don't know where I was going with the number 24. I don't know what's going on there. But at the same time, the turning point in tonight's game, the Mavericks used a dominant first quarter, Bobby, to set the tone in this game. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's worth repeating. The Mavericks started up the first 5 minutes of this game on a 20-6 run. And in particular, Klay Thompson, who we had mentioned needed to get things going offensively, especially from the three-point line. 10 early points, was able to really get things going for the Mavericks, and they did not look back from there. But I bring that up because what we want to see more and more from this team is consistent efforts and starts at the beginning of games, and you've got that in the last two. How that continues to carry forward could give us an indication on the intensity level that this team brings night in and night out. They used a great start tonight to really get things started for them.
And so much of it was coming in the lane, too. In the first quarter, the Mavs scored 20 points in the paint. Klay made a couple ones. Luka made a couple ones. Lively obviously had that reverse dunk and all that stuff. So a lot of that's coming at the rim. And what that did, it's not just Luka or Kyrie going off, so now the team has to double them, and now you're going to be playing 4-on-3. No, it's everybody is going to the rim. You cannot stop it. So now we got to play zone. And playing zone against the Mavs is really dangerous because they have so much shooting. So coming into this game, the Mavs had played against zone on 47 possessions this season, which was the third most in the NBA of any team on offense. And they had scored 1.234 points per possession against the zone, which actually is around the middle of the league, which is surprising. Granted, many teams have only played like 3 or 8 or 12 possessions against zones. The Mavs have played quite a few just because they played against OKC and some other teams going through some size stuff. Now, tonight, the Pelicans were sitting in that zone quite a bit, and the Mavs carved them up. I don't know what the numbers are. I won't know those until later tonight or tomorrow, but it felt like they were scoring a lot. And Klay was a big, a big beneficiary of the 2-3 because it was really the first time that he was able to go to the corner or the wing and be left open. Teams this year have really been clinging to him. If they're leaving anybody open, it's PJ or Najee or honestly anyone else other than Klay. We see them leave Luka open sometimes and stay on Klay. But in that zone, because you're able to get the ball into the middle of the floor, whether that's Kyrie or the big or PJ had a few possessions, all of a sudden what you're doing is kind of shifting the geometry of the floor. So you got two guys on the top of the key guarding the ball, guarding Kyrie or Luka, whoever doesn't have the ball, and then you got big man sliding up on PJ, and now all of a sudden it's a numbers game. And Klay was open a lot as a result of that and had some really good looks. So I would say as a basketball thinker guy, at least try to be, I would not play zone against the Mavs. But I would say as the host of a Mavs podcast, keep playing zone against the Mavs.
Yeah.
It might work for you. You might be the one to figure it out.
And to your point, I think the Mavericks did a great job not just shooting the Pelicans out of the zone at times, but they attack the zone in multiple ways. One of the best ways you can do that is to attack the middle of the floor and be able to finish in the lane. That speaks to how they were able to dominate in the paint as well. And I thought the Mavericks used what was multi-dimensional offense to be able to not only finish in the paint, knock down shots from the outside, but really create pressure and busting up that zone that the Pelicans were playing tonight. And honestly, when you're a team that is as injury-riddled as the Pelicans and you're trying to find ways to get easy buckets or try to win possessions on the defensive end, you're going to wind up playing a lot of zone. And the Pelicans did that tonight, and the Mavericks did a good job of exploiting that with different ways, whether it be P.J. Washington finishing in the middle, Derek Lively shooting them out of it with, making threes on the outside. I thought the Mavericks did a great job of using multiple weapons to be able to beat that zone tonight.
I just think they have so many guys that can operate from the middle of a zone, and that really matters. Most teams, even really good teams, they're bigs. Like, I don't know if the Cavs are going to want to put Jared Allen in the middle of a zone. Now, you can put Mobley in the middle of a zone. For sure. But, I just don't know. Even teams with really, really talented bigs don't necessarily want to give their big a face-up opportunity from the free throw line against a zone where you got to read the floor, turn around, look at the rim, read the floor, make a decision, make a pass to the corner, spray it to the perimeter or whatever. But Lively can do that. Gafford's made some pretty good passes. P.J. Washington and Najee Marshall both are, the size of like a big three or a regular sized four, but they both have really good float games. So all of these guys that you could put in the middle of the floor can do something off the dribble. And we saw even against OKC, the Mavs put Kyrie in the middle of the zone.
Sure.
And that guy, if you're going to let him get a clean touch in the paint, it's over. It's over. So the Mavs in terms of personnel, just are really well equipped to play against the zone, which is why I'm begging teams to keep doing it against them, because I just want to see something.
Yeah, and you got to be able to play under control to be able to make sure that you're making the right read and the correct passes, or finishing at the rim the way the Mavs were able to do quite a bit tonight. Shout out to
it did look like a Blastoise
to Francel Brito for the $4.99 super chat. That you go ahead and read it. It's just,
the court looked like a Blastoise. Do you know what Blastoise is?
No.
Are you?
Is this supposed to be a Pokemon jump off? What is
Don't
it?
pretend like you don't know who Blastoise is.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I figured it probably was when you like laughed and you made the reference or saw it. I was like, this must be a Pokemon type thing. All right, cool.
It's the Cato water starter. Squirtle evolves into Wartortle, evolves into Blastoise. It was my first Pokemon ever.
Spanglish? Like, what was that?
Dude, come on.
What?
Roast this man.
Fine.
Roast do to KG in the chat what the Mavs did to the Pelicans tonight. Love the show so much. I'm here after every win or loss. Salute. Hey,
shout out to you, Francel.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And hey, that's the thing. Win or loss, tonight's fun because the Mavs just absolutely obliterated those guys, those nerds from New Orleans. But you know, we've been through some. We've only been doing pods for 3 months, and we've been through some stuff together.
We have, and guess what? We made it to the other side.
It really did look like a Blastoise, though. It's the same shade as like the blue cartridge. It even had that ring around middle court, kind of like Blastoise's shell. All we're missing is the cannons. But I guess the Mav shooters were the cannons tonight, guys.
Do we have a picture of the floor? Do we have one of those ready, available? Just so we can just throw. Okay, we'll throw up a picture of the floor because, again, I want to see what say the word again?
Blastoise.
Blastoise. All right,
say the word again.
Yeah, I wanted to hear you say it.
Here, so this is Blastoise.
Oh, who is this?
Blastoise.
That looked like Bowser from
kind of.
You know, from,
it's a big
Super Mario
turtle.
Brothers.
It's a big turtle.
Yeah, that's what that looked like to me. If you had said he looked like Bowser,
but can't you kind of see it like in the card? You know, he's got.
Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, maybe a little lighter blue from my guy there. But whoa, what is going on here? Mark, what you got to say to me in the chat? What Mark say? Kevin acting like what? Kevin acting like he's too adult for Pokemon, like he doesn't love Blue. First of all,
that's right.
First of all,
that's right.
Blue is a great show for adults and children. Okay, so I appreciate the reference though. Yeah, I just look, man. I didn't play Pokemon like that. Like I said, I got you for Pikachu. That's what I got for you.
Oh, that's good enough, I guess. Does Kevin know his Yu-Gi-Oh? Dude, no shot. Do you know who Dark Magician is? Red Eyes Black Dragon, Blue Eyes White Dragon.
These names are like movies or something. Like, what's going on here? Yu-Gi-Oh! I got you. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pikachu, I got you. That's about it.
All right.
Yeah, all the other ones like.
Whoa!
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Give us a warning.
Look at the off shades of blue. Like you got the regular blue for the Mavericks normal uniforms, and then whatever the hell that is. Like I feel like is that supposed to be the skyline, by the way, in the middle of the floor as well? It's like, is that what we're doing here?
Can I say something though?
And by the way, this is terrible for the podcast as well. For those listening, sorry to you for those who are listening to this on the podcast.
I do like that they have like the silhouette of the skyline. So normally,
so that's what that is.
They have that very small, only on like the sideline. Like it's very small, but they really increase the size of that, and so you have the Dallas skyline pretty big. Now it's tough to make out on TV because it's such a light shade of blue. But you see the big arch from the bridge that's not really located there. You see some of the other buildings as well. So I don't know. I think that part is pretty cool, but it's just a lot of blue, man. What to say? And also the Mavs aren't the Golden State Warriors.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like we're doing, again, this is terrible for the podcast listener, but
go to YouTube.
If you're going to watch, go to watch the video a little bit later on. Okay. I feel like with the floor itself, what they have to do is just, okay, if you want to leave the NBA Cup trophy and the team's logo in the middle of the floor, that's cool. And then leave the rest of the floor regular. Like you want to distinguish that this is an NBA Cup game. No harm, no foul. Do that. But to change the colors and try to find 15,000 shades of blue and, mess up sight lines for shooters, I feel like it's just doing way too much. It's just doing too much. And even if you want to leave the NBA Cup as far as like the, to the free throw line and have the free throw line be the, top of the cup or whatever, okay, that's fine too. But leave the rest of the floor the same, because otherwise it's doing way too much.
El Patel astutely asks, why isn't this stream sponsored by Blue Chew?
Why?
It's a missed opportunity. The Emirates NBA Cup presented by Blue Chew.
Give us a couple days. You'll probably hear a Blue Chew read.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I
or
think,
go listen to the Rangers podcast. John Radigan did the read today for that.
I'm not like Marc Stein. I want the NBA Cup to succeed. I think it's cool. If you're playing 80,
it's not that he doesn't want the NBA Cup to not succeed.
He doesn't like it.
He wants it to actually be like an actual, build in the form of how these soccer tournaments are actually built.
Well, let me take at least a little step back. Then I apologize, Mark, for misrepresenting
and we'll get more clarification a little bit
POV.
later on as well.
But I think if you're going to be playing 82 games, make some of them a little more interesting. But if the mission is to try and convince the general public who's already skeptical of any change because this is America, then you're gonna have to give them reasons to buy into this.
Yeah.
And zany cartoon courts like this is not a good reason.
That ain't it.
It's just not a good reason. You could have levels of intensity that are different from a normal regular season game without looking like you are playing underwater or in hell. That's all I say. That's all I have to say about it.
Two things. Go back to Ben, not our boss Ben. We talk to him all the time. Ben Selheim. There you go. Empire today would have done a better court. That's for sure.
That's right.
And go to the Tanner, not that Tanner, but the other Tanner.
Y'all gotta get some new names.
You wouldn't. Kevin is just a crusty old man. First of all, I look very good for my age, so y'all can relax. Okay.
Would you believe 37. it? Kevin is 50. You look
Shut
great.
up, Bobby. Shut up. Your boy 37 looking not a day over 25. Just want to make sure.
No, that's right.
Now that's a great question, Robbie. Why isn't the pod sponsored by Blue? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm working on it. In fact, I'm gonna work on it some more after we take this break here on the Dlls Mavs post game show. When we come back, our guy Tim Cato, live from the American Airlines Center, he's gonna join us to let us know how much we're doing on this show already and how the Mavericks got it done against the Pelicans. And our guy Marc Stein a little bit later on in the show as well. All that and more coming up next year on the Dlls Mavs postgame show. But it's game time here on the Dlls Mavs postgame show. If not yet, Bobby. If you want to go to your favorite concert, see your favorite team, go to your favorite sporting event, you got to make sure you use Game Time to get your tickets. Game Time has the events that you want and look for, and they have Game Time picks to curate and make it easier to save more money on sporting events, concerts, comedy events, theater, all kinds of stuff. They also have all-in pricing where toggling this feature shows you the total upfront price with no surprise fees at checkout. And they've got panoramic seat views as well, so you can see where you're going to be sitting in the app before you buy your tickets. I'm going to WrestleMania in April. I was able to use Game Time to get my tickets. I know exactly where I'm going to be sitting at Allegiant Stadium to see John Cena in his final WrestleMania. And if you want to come with me, buy yourself a ticket. You can come and you can do it on Game Time. Make sure you use Game Time to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time. What time is it, Bobby?
Game time? Woo.
Yeah.
Strong Pokemon, weak Pokemon.
Love you, Cat.
That is only the selfish perception of people. Truly skilled trainers should try to win with the Pokemon they love best. And truly skilled floor users should try and use floors with the floors they know
I was
best.
like, what is he reading?
From our friends at Empire Today, where you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they have copycats like the NBA Cup, but Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, or speed. So competitors advertise low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. They're not going to promise you the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting some garbage, some junky junk in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs.
Like the Pelicans shooting tonight.
Exactly. Don't let the Pelicans ruin your court. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/DLLS for details.
Let's go live to the American Airlines Center and welcome in our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato after the Mavericks beat down the Pelicans tonight, 132-91. 7 Mavericks in double figures, including Luka Doncic in his return with 26 points on the evening. Tim Cato.
Hi, Tim.
As the Mavericks get their third straight
Hello,
win.
Bobby.
What's going on?
What were you guys talking about? I tuned in and it took it was just so much. It was you guys were just naming shades of blue, just naming blue Pokemons.
It sounded like you started to join in with what Periwinkle, whatever else you were trying to name as far as the we were discussing the NBA
that was me
Cup
in the
court.
chat.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying.
There's low standards for the chat.
Tim, does the court look as loud in person, or is that just a TV thing?
I enjoyed it. It was very blue. It matched a lot of the jerseys that people were wearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought it was fine.
That's cool.
So you're okay with the NBA cut floor? You're good with that? You like it?
I play on a blue court every once in a while.
Oh, really? How does that work out for you?
It's fine.
It's fine?
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I shoot even better. That's not true. It's kind of true.
Worked for the Mavs.
It definitely worked for the Mavs tonight, as they were able to shoot extremely well from the three-point line in this game, shooting, 45% from downtown tonight. So the Mavericks getting back on track, especially Klay Thompson knocking down 5 threes, making me look very smart. Appreciate it.
You guys remember when I said, I think it was after they lost to the Warriors. I said they were going to win the next 4 games, and I was so wrong, but also kind of not, because they should have beat Utah. And look, here they are.
So you were wrong.
Yeah, you were wrong.
Yeah, but imagine if what happened in Utah had been the other thing that happened, which would have been winning.
This
Yeah,
isn't Marvel's. This isn't Marvel's
Then I
what
would
if,
have
where you
been
could create
so
15
right.
different universes. Okay, like just live in the one you got.
Yeah, but I just think that when I make predictions like that, then they should come true. So what if
Okay.
we just say, however, I guess the point was, you just kind of take Utah, you put it in a box, you wrap it up, you put some wrapping paper, gift paper, what do they call that? And then you gift it to somebody at Christmas that you don't like. And so that game's gone. You can't see it anymore. You would be feeling a lot better, probably pretty normal about this team, right?
Did he just make the Utah Jazz a lump of coal?
Maybe is what you're trying to say that they're back on track?
Yes, I think that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
And I was using way too long of an analogy, but in my defense, I wasn't the only Maverick who went to their press conference and made a very amusing, possibly unnecessary analogy. If you guys would like to
please
hear.
share.
Oh yeah, so Klay Thompson, he comes up and he says, as a captain of the ocean, I love any boating analogy I can use. And then he talked about how the team had been in rough waters. And the most important thing is to stay the course. And you guys get mad at me when I make a strained analogy. And yet here's Klay Thompson making everybody was laughing when he did it. What's different about me and him?
Okay, so whenever he
I
did it,
tend to
first
think
off,
that
he's a
me and Klay
millionaire
being
and
very similar.
he's a millionaire and it's polite media laughter for something that's not really that funny.
And he's also, ascended to the top of his field like 4 times. So there's a level of credibility there that you don't have at this point.
No, I think he's legitimately funny, and you guys have a vendetta against me. I think that's the likelier explanation.
Tim, we wouldn't have you on this show if we had a vendetta against you, so you might want to chill out.
I'm the boss.
There you go.
I think you would. I think you bring me on every show to mock me subtly.
We would
in
never
ways
do that.
Oh, that was you said that so quickly. You said that so guiltily.
By the way, you are shining like a diamond right now because this light, whatever it is piercing you, making that much
the
brighter.
lightsaber. The lightsaber is back. I don't know. It just I sit in my DLLS post-game studio here at the AAC, which every time I say that I have to clarify we don't actually have a studio. This is just where I sit to do my recording. And yeah, sometimes the light is just like right down. That won't help.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I think we're just stuck with it.
We'll just keep going with the bit. And yes, Drew, Klay is legit funny. Klay is he's got that dry sense of humor. Like you think about it for like, oh, you know what? That actually is kind of funny. Klay is legit funny. I enjoy a Klay press conference. He's pretty witty.
Tim, yesterday we or you kind of led the segment where we were talking about Najee Marshall and Quentin Grimes. They now have had quite a few really good games in a row as a tandem. Last couple games, both coming off the bench, or I guess Grimes started, whatever. They've been coming off the bench mostly lately, and they've been playing really, really well. Like, I don't think that either of them are going to be 6th man of the year conversation candidate guys.
Bite your tongue, Bobby.
But
I mean, Ty Jerome has it locked up.
Yeah.
Damn, already after 15 games?
Between those two guys,
yeah, it's over.
And Gafford, who scored a double figures like 100 games in a row now, like it feels like the Mavs have a bench all of a sudden again.
Yeah, it turns out that Najee and Quentin going back to the bench helps make your bench better.
Who would have thought
Yes,
that? Who would have thought that, damn it?
We thought Dallas had more depth than they showed in a couple instances. But yeah, a lot of the depth is supposed to be depth. And when you elevate it to the starting lineup because you have multiple players injured, yeah, your bench is not going to look as good. You know, a lot of this depth was meant for replacing each other. If you know, Jaden Hardy or if Exum got hurt, which he did, then you felt good that Jaden Hardy or Spencer Dinwiddie were better options to fill in that Exum role specifically. You didn't feel good about any of those players replacing Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, PJ Washington. Those are the players that are not replaceable. So yes, you're always going to have better depth. Your depth is always going to look better when it's filling in for roles that are as, you know, that they're more accustomed to filling, or that's more appropriate for them to fill.
The Mavericks, at least I'm going to speak for myself, the preferred starting lineup that I would was like to have seen at the beginning of the year. We saw that tonight with Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, and Derek Lively II. And obviously for Luka coming back after missing the game against the Thunder, had a couple of steals to open up the game, couple of layups off of those steals, wound up with 3 in total. It felt like from the jump, not just he, but this entire team collectively was locked in, especially in their first 5 minutes of the game where they blitzed him 20-6 and never really looked back from there in this game tonight.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a really good game from him. Overall, I thought the shots that he took, the process was smart, was effective. He was upset that he thought it should have been 3 breakaway steals and layups. It was 3 steals, but the third one got called, and he was in his post game press conference very Luka-like, to be annoyed that there wasn't a clear path foul whistled on that one. And he also, I should note, he had a wrap on his wrist. That would have been his right wrist. But he said it was just something he felt early in the game and played through it, and it was no big deal. Just something to note. We always enjoy playing the. It feels sometimes like like Luka's almost always on the injury report. Sometimes it feels like they just spin a wheel, a roulette of which injury will be listed as the reason he is probable. So yeah, he's always picking up minor things, but just want to note that there was like a wrap on his wrist in the post game. He said it's no big deal, but that's another thing that at least for this game he was dealing with. But overall, very much better looking game from him. Obviously, it helps a lot that he hit those last 2 threes. Well, hit his last 2 threes and then missed one from the corner. I think
airballed it,
but
actually.
Yeah. But I thought the 2 threes he hit before that looked like Luka threes. You know what I mean? It's such a dumb thing to say.
That second one was a heat check for sure.
Threes. Yeah, they look like the threes that we were used to seeing the best versions of him shoot and make last season.
Yeah, he looked like a little bit more like himself tonight. Also of note, and speaking of being Luka-like, he picked up his 4th technical foul tonight as well in the game. So Luka, his all-around game was there tonight. Not only shooting the 3, getting the buckets, but also, technical foul jump off as well.
I have
here's my one issue with it. It's okay to get a technical foul every once in a while, but point differential matters in the NBA Cup. Luka, you have to stay more locked in for these 48 minutes than you are for the other ones. You have to understand that when you're playing in the NBA Cup, the sanctity of the NBA Cup, it's possible he just forgot, but I don't know how with that shade of blue on the court underneath his legs at every possible second. I just don't really understand how he could forget that.
It's unmissable. Tim, I think the last thing, but we got to go to break soon, but I want to say a couple numbers, and then I have a very simple question for you. So Kevin, to your point about the starting lineup finally playing, Kyrie, PJ, Lively, in those 78 minutes they're on the floor, the Mavs are plus 26 net rating.
Oh my!
In the 89 minutes that Kyrie, Luka, Lively are on the floor, the Mavs are plus 17.7 net rating. Najee Marshall and Quentin Grimes, whenever they're on the floor in 109 minutes, the Mavs are plus 18.3 with a 102 defensive rating. The Mavs are 7th in offense, 6th in defense, 6th in net, A lot of these stats are skewed by beating down a bunch of bad teams. But Tim, my very simple question for you is, are the Mavs good?
Yes.
So their record is just kind of weird. But this is a good team.
Yes.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
Okay. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but yeah, I would say yes as of right now. But if the vibes change and it feels like we should say they're a bad team, you can't hold us. You can't hold it against us.
we got to be opportunistic.
Right now, it feels like a good time. So after they win games, they're a good team. However, if they lose again, let's just circle back to me then.
We will do that tomorrow here on the DLS Mavs podcast, where we will see you once again. We appreciate your reporting as always and look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our show, man. Thank you so much.
Bye, Tim.
See y'all then.
That's our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, good enough to join us from the American Airlines Center after the Mavericks beat them down by 41 points, 132-91. Coming up next here on the DLS Mavs postgame show, our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, going to be joining us live from the American Airlines Center as well. His thoughts not only on tonight's game, but there are no longer any undefeated teams in the league after tonight's game between the Celtics and the Cavaliers. All that and more coming up next here on the DLS Mavs postgame show.
But first, are the Mavs good? One way to find out is by looking at stats. Another way to find out is by listening to this show.
That's right.
The final way to find out is to read what Tim Cato has to say and what the players and coaches had to say and what the numbers say and all that stuff on alldlls.com/Mavericks. That's where you can read some of the best premium written content about the team on the internet. We got post-game articles, analysis, film breakdowns, features, columns, opinions, profiles, all sorts of stuff. But that is locked behind a paywall. And the only way to find a key is by scanning not Dirk's bobblehead, but that QR code right there, going to the link in the description, or going to alldlls.com/diehard, where you too can become a diehard. Now, what that entails is gaining access to the diehard Discord server. You can gain access to the entire site to read premium content, not only about the Mavs, but also about all the other pro teams in town, including the lottery-winning Dallas Wings coming soon, and FC Dallas and more. You also get a free shirt when you sign up, and you get discounts on any other shirts that you want or any other hoodies, and soon to be some headwear as well. All in exchange for less than $7 a month. But if you like what we're doing here, you just like the pregame, you like the postgame, you like the 5 pods a week that we're bringing you, hey, all that stuff is free on YouTube. It's all free on Spotify, all free on iTunes. All we ask you to do for us is to hit us with a like, hit us with a subscribe or follow or download or rate us 5 stars, review. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your OKC fans that are pissed off that PJ Washington had kind of a mid-game tonight after destroying them the other night. But if you want to take your support one step further, again, alldlls.com/diehard. We would really appreciate if you signed up to support what we're doing here at DLLS Sports.
And show out the physical diehard card as well. Tag us on social media, and we'll shout you out as well and let us know that you've become part of our DLLS Sports family here at DLLS Sports. Let's go back out to the American Airlines Center and welcome in the dashing and dapper national NBA insider, our very own Marc Stein. We can always dial up the Stein line on X at the Stein line after the Mavericks send the Pelicans that much closer back to Pelican Bay with their 132-91 beat them down. And the AAC. Mark, what's going on?
Gents, good evening. A lot of noise down here near the Pelicans locker room as they make their way out of the arena. They are going through it. They are going through it like few NBA teams I've ever seen. I must have encountered 6, 7, 8 different coaches, players, executives, team staffers, and universally the commentary was, we're missing 6 out of our top 8 guys. I've never seen anything like this. Like, the Pelicans are no strangers to injuries, but what's going on with them right now, man? Wow.
Unfortunately, that's been kind of a story throughout the entire association with injuries to several stars around the league and several key reserves as well.
I hate it. I mean, look, injuries are an unavoidable, inescapable reality of the NBA, but it's just been so much, so soon, so early. And, I wrote my first injury piece of the season a week into camp because that many guys were already missing, including a certain Mr. Doncic from your Mavericks. I mean, man, this year has been very, very rough, and no team has felt the brunt of it more than the Pelicans. So for the Mavs, after Utah, I was banking on nothing anymore. Like I was so sure that was a win under any circumstances, and it wasn't. So the way this team has responded, first by dispatching of San Antonio comfortably in also what you would call favorable circumstances, and then going to OKC and putting together the win of the season, and then here to take advantage of a team that is just really, really, really shorthanded and pound out a 40-point win. You guys know I am not an NBA Cup guy, so do not expect me to pontificate and wax poetic about this point differential, but
it was huge, Mark.
It was huge, yes.
It was huge.
It was big.
Presume that the Illustrator did a wonderful job in either segment 1 or segment 2 of summing up the grand significance of the 41-point margin of victory and what that means in whatever group the Mavericks are in. If you think I know the letter of the group that the Mavericks are in, you would be mistaken because I do not.
And Kevin had the nerve to tell me that you don't dislike the NBA Cup.
No, I think he okey-doked you or whatever.
He did.
You had the nerve.
Look, well, here's the thing. Mark's gripe, if I could, Mark, his gripe is, look, if you're going to have this as a actual, tournament like this, Mark's a big soccer guy. He knows what tournament play looks like and group stage and semifinals. This is not the essence of what the NBA, I think, was trying to pull off when they decided to create this tournament. And in a lot of ways,
I'm so glad you brought it up this way. Tanner, can Tanner help me out with a poll? Can we throw a poll into the chat tonight? I would like to ask the same question that I asked on my Substack today. I would like to ask it to all my friends in the DLS chat room. Do you guys, are you laughing because we can't do a poll and I'm going to go through a big thing and then you're going to tell me?
No, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because Stringer just left the comment saying, "My grandma won't shut up about the point, about the point differential. The whole family is excited."
They're terribly excited about it.
I'm going to send some super chat money to whoever posted that. So Tanner, help me out, Tanner. Let's do a poll. Would our friends in the DLS chat room tonight, do they like the NBA Cup the way it is? And to remind you what that means in a 67-game tournament, 66 of those games are really just regular season games where the score counts twice. East and West are kept apart to the finals. There's no there's no knockout round until the quarterfinals. And it's not a real tournament until we get to the semifinals in Vegas. Do you guys like that? You want to do what I'm suggesting? If we're going to have a tournament, if we're going to have an NBA Cup, if we're going to do a tournament, we can't bring in any teams from other leagues. We can't, destroy the NBA schedule as it is. So my proposal is, let's go to Vegas for 7 to 9 days, however long it takes to play 5 games. The 2 teams that went to the NBA Finals get a bye. So that would have been the Celtics and the Mavs get a bye. The other 28 teams go into a hat. We randomly draw it, and we play a 32-team single elimination tournament, which is what this is supposed to be, an actual tournament. Let's go to Vegas for a week and change to get it done. The whole league can go to Vegas just like we do in Summer League. Let's make it different. Let's make it unique. Let's bring in knockout rounds in all 5 rounds where there's like, this is so contrived. Tonight at the post-game press conference, they're asking Jason Kidd, are you satisfied with a 41-point win margin? Did you think about running up the score further in the fourth quarter? And Kidd is like, guys, if the 41-point win ain't enough, what are we doing here? Like, I'm sorry, this is not a tournament. It will be in Vegas. And even if the Mavs don't make the Final Four, I always want to go to Vegas. So when it's the semis, I would love to be there for the semis. From the semis and the finals, it does have a real tournament feel. For people to care about this, it's got to be different. It's got to be unique. There's got to be some injection of variety from somewhere. And look, I know I'm making it sound easy. It's not easy for the NBA to blow up its schedule, to bring in 2 EuroLeague teams. Like, these are not easy things. So that's why I'm saying, okay, the easiest thing to do was let's just carve out 7 to 10 days to do the whole tournament in Vegas. And yes, that means some teams that make big money off their home dates are going to lose out on some cash. But if it's the best for the league to have a real second trophy to compete for, then we have to try it. Because this thing, I mean, if I'm an old grumpy curmudgeon, you guys set me straight. Did you think this was awesome tonight?
Well, the Spurs did just lose.
They lost they beat the Thunder. Yeah, they did beat the Thunder tonight.
Only in the NBA Cup do you get upsets of that caliber, Mark.
Ask you honestly, do you think the NBA Cup was the driving force behind that performance?
Who's to say? No, obviously I don't. The way I see it is they're forcing so many games down our throats as it is, making some of them a little different. I have no problem with. I think it's kind of cool, kind of fun. I'm not going to treat it with, like it's the most prestigious event in the world, but it's something different, something cool to think about. I don't like the courts.
Yeah, the courts are doing a lot of heavy lifting here.
I like courts. I am, not all of them, but in general, that's what I'm saying. The reason they have to do the courts and make them as gaudy as they are is because there is no variety in this. There's no real variety in this thing. In a real cup competition, which is what we were told this is going to be, it's modeled after a European Soccer Cup. The reason a European Soccer Cup, the romance comes from teams in the 2nd and 3rd and 4th divisions shocking a Premier League team. Like last year, I think in Germany's Cup, Bayern Munich lost to a lower league team. That's what, you're just, oh my God. And that's the thing, even had the Cavs taken their first loss in the NBA Cup to Toronto, that would have been interesting. That would have been just like a taste of the NCAA in the NBA, like one loss and you're out. That's what we need to get to make this thing stand out and be different. And we're just so far away from it. That's what discourages me. But like I said, I don't want to influence you. If you genuinely like it, if our friends in the chat think I'm just a crazy old man shouting it at the clouds, then that's fine. But I'm just giving you my unvarnished take on all this.
You have 80% of the vote right now. So.
Yeah, and 2 things. Number 1, this VOD is going to be incredible. I can't wait to see this be put on a VOD for our channel. And number 2, and Drew made the point, and Drew, you're exactly right. With Mark is a big soccer guy. Can you go up to Drew's comment real quick where he mentions it that Mark wants it to basically be, yeah, there it is right there. He wants it to be like Champions League. That's basically what we're kind of advocating.
Here's the thing. Let's look at Champions League. Champions League does have group play, which the NBA Cup has. But Champions League is bringing 32, 48, whatever the current number is. It's bringing teams from all over the world, from leagues all over the world that don't play each other every day. So even their group games have spice and variety because a Liverpool, a Man United, they can get beaten by a team from one of Europe's non-glamour leagues. And that's where the romance comes in. And one of the problems with this thing is there's no variety. There's just nothing new. the East and West don't even mix. So we can't even get the Mavs playing Eastern Conference teams in this thing more often just to change it up. And that's my issue with it.
Mark, I like this suggestion from Sarah in the chat. Maybe instead of giving money to the players, maybe they should give $500,000 to the fans of the winning team instead.
For watching it all.
I mean, he's right though. A Mavs Celtics NBA Cup game would have been kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Maybe they'll meet in the finals or something.
Well, that'd be nice if they could. Well, never mind.
I do think it's silly that you're not having interconference groups.
Yeah,
who cares?
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, that part is kind of
come
wild.
on.
There's so much talk already about the 82-game schedule. Is it too long? So what the NBA look, and again, I am underselling some of these logistical challenges. I will give the league that much because even the way it is, every team is scheduled for 80 games. And if you look at the Mavericks schedule right now between December 7th and December 19th, there's a huge gap because we don't even know who the Mavs are going to play that week. If
hopefully
they're either going to advance. No, they're going to play somebody. They're either going to advance to the Cup quarterfinals or they're going to need 2 regular season games to fill in there. So I'm not suggesting it's easy, but that's why I think the easiest fix to inflict the least chaos on the NBA schedule as it is to try the let's go to Vegas for a week and do a real tournament plan. Let's try that. Then we don't need new courts and point differentials and all this stuff. Let's go to Vegas and have a 32 team. Again, you have to have 2 byes, and then the other 28 teams can play in round 1. Let's have a tournament. Every game is a knockout game. It will be NCAA style in the NBA for a week to 10 days, and it will be so different and weird and wacky, and there will be upsets, and I think people will like it. And then, because you've only taken a week out of the schedule, you can figure out the rest of the schedule around that. At least I'd like to think so.
Or we can turn the All-Star game into a tournament because that's what people really want to see.
Oh my gosh, do not.
No. Like in hockey, it works. Like when they play, I think they have 6 teams, or I don't remember. I mean, hockey's done that format, and it seems to really work in hockey. But look, that's your, man, you guys have hit every old man button today.
No, it's okay.
The All-Star game sucks. We're in agreement on that.
We are in complete agreement on that.
Here's the thing. When I was a kid, I didn't see the Dallas Mavericks. I saw them on TV maybe twice a year if they played the Lakers. So like Rolando Blackman at the free throw line, sinking those free throws and confidence, baby, confidence. Like I will never forget. I mean, I see Rolando Blackman today and that's what I think of. Because these guys weren't in our lives in the 80s like they are now. NBA players are in our lives seemingly minute to minute now. And so we don't need an all-star game to see them. It's like we're living with them in some ways. So that's why it's like in 2024, just an all-star game is not special like it was in 1984. It just isn't.
Couple things before we let you go. Number one, I want to get your reaction, obviously, to Luka Doncic making his return tonight after a 1-game absence. And league-wide, there are no undefeated teams left in the league after the Celtics defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight in what was a terrific game in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's where, I mean, the league is just living right to, Clay going back to Golden State. The league could manipulate that so it was an NBA Cup game. The league had control of that, and then that game exceeds all reasonable measures of hype going in, and the NBA just gets a total win out of that for the opening night of the NBA Cup. The league just had no control over. I mean, the league obviously couldn't know that Cleveland was going to start the season 15-0. So what an amazing stroke of luck for the league to get a game like that on an NBA Cup Tuesday, and to get that game after an inside the NBA lead-in where the inside guys have just been saved and their program is now, has been extended. So like I was running around like crazy tonight. I didn't get to see any of Inside's pregame show, but I'm guessing between that and, the Cavs-Celtics game was pretty wild. Boston got way up. Cavs rallied and made it a game. So a huge win for the league to have, again, Cleveland, such a big game at this point in the season. And look, the Cavs have been a tremendous story. And because of all the injuries, because of the chaos in Milwaukee and Philadelphia, we haven't paid enough attention to what Cleveland is doing. And they've done all this without Max Strus, who was one of their few proven floor spacers coming into the season. So, that was a great spectacle. And as far as Luka, I mean, I don't think you can really ask for any more from him to, miss Sunday. I know he went through a workout Monday when the team was otherwise off because he was really determined to get back out there. And what did the Corellustrator say? I'm guessing you were pretty pleased with the return of 77.
He looked good, moved good. I think his first step back three was in the second quarter. Like he was putting the pedal to the metal, getting to the rim, making things happen. Aggressive Luka is good Luka. I will always celebrate aggressive Luka. Always.
Especially on the defensive end. Good for him on the defensive end tonight.
That one gamble kind of annoyed me, but they won by 40. So
who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? Who cares?
Who cares?
What's the chat vibe? What have I missed in the chat? Tomorrow it's our first day show in that I'm part of in ages. So tomorrow I will get to fully immerse myself in chat. But what am I missing tonight?
So you won the poll 80-20. So people like your takes. People really, really like your takes. Otherwise, I mean, it's just everything is great. The Mavs rule. I asked Tim this question. I want to ask you as well. Basically, statistically speaking, the Mavs are very good at a lot of things now. They're 7th in offense, 6th in defense, 6th in net rating. They have a bunch of lineups of all their key guys.
You were the one who pointed out they were top 10 in both categories when they were 5 and 7. So
yeah, and it's like, but now they've won a few in a row, and now granted they're padding their net rating stats against really, really bad teams. They're just pounding the lottery teams that they're playing. But it's like all of a sudden now, Luka, Lively, Kyrie is like plus 18 net rating. Luka or Kyrie, PJ Lively's plus 26. Like when their good guys are on the floor, they're really, really good. Maybe the Mavs are just a good team.
End up winning tonight in Memphis?
What's that?
Did Denver end up winning tonight in Memphis?
Yes, by 12.
And no Jokic, right? So Friday might be Jokic's return.
Are you trying to ruin my night?
As if Friday wasn't spicy enough.
It's another NBA Cup game, at least.
It is.
And that is where all the excitement will stem.
You could dial up the...
Not Luka and Jokic. It's a cup game, so they're going to be trying way harder.
I love this version of Mark. I like this. I need more of this. I need this more of Marc Stein. You could always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line. He's our national NBA insider for the All City Network, and we're happy to have him here for the Dallas Mavs pregame, or I should say postgame show here tonight.
Tomorrow, is that right?
That's right. 1:00 tomorrow. Be there or be square.
I got to visit with the All-NBA guys first, Legler and Mavs, and then I will make my way down to see you guys.
Hey, while you're there, tell Martez we need him on the show this week. We're going to need to do it behind enemy lines so we can talk to him about the Nuggets Mavs game.
I was going to actually see the same thing. Like, do I need to jump on their show to go on DNVR as well? But I will make a mention.
Okay. Appreciate that. Appreciate you, Mark. Thank you.
Bye, Mark.
Guys, hours.
There he goes, our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, live from the American Airlines Center. A very animated and passionate Marc Stein tonight when it comes
Dude,
to
he's fired up.
I guess I've never seen that version.
It was awesome.
Like Mark is very eloquent with his words, very measured with his words. But that version right there, I like that because that was some real fire, some real passion and how he feels about the NBA Cup, the Emirates NBA Cup, which the Mavericks, gentlemen, are now 1-1 after their 41-point domination of the New Orleans Pelicans. Luka Doncic is leading the way in his return. The steals, he had 3 steals tonight, so I'm sure he was very thrilled about that. We will be back tomorrow here on the DLS Mavs podcast.
Shout out to more than 200 people hanging out with us the whole time. It's 11 o'clock. They won by 40. Y'all could be doing anything, but thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much. Y'all are the real MVPs of DLS Mavs, so we really appreciate y'all. And hopefully y'all will come back with us tomorrow as well at 1 o'clock here on the DLS Mavs podcast. More breakdown on how it went down tonight. Plus, we take a look ahead as we get ready to see the Mavericks take on Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets on Friday. Mavs got a couple days off before they travel to Denver, so looking forward to that.
Woohoo!
So make sure you join us here at 1 p.m. on the DLS Mavs podcast. For our National NBA Insider, Marc Stein, our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Carella, I'm Kevin Gray. We are DLS Mavs. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on DLS Sports. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.